Hello, everybody. We'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mike and Bradley Show, or the Three Stooges in Orbit, as they would call it. But anyway, my name is Mike Smith, and this is Bradley Hargis. Bradley, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Good to be here. Somebody can't count. There's only two of us on camera.
Well, if you're two characters,
and I can't let you count Ethan as a stooge because I know Ethan, and he's not far from that. So I've got to take up for him on that.
Yeah. Whatever. But anyway, we're gonna discuss high school football, as it's just about 9 days away from kickoff and the football season, and we're going to talk about some improvements to the press box this year, especially for Bradley, because Bradley appreciated it very much. And we'll also mention the guy who came up with the little idea, won't we, Bradley?
Who's that?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, well, anyway, let's go. Let's get over ahead and go over the high school football scene. It's 9 days away from kickoff. It's Bledsoe County will be hosting Sequatchie County. There will be no jamboree this year. As far as I know,
second year in a row, no jamboree.
No jamboree. So basically, but they did have some scrimmages, including at South Pittsburgh last night, and they had some almost like a jamboree the week before. They up in Allgood, which they played a number of teams there as well, and of course, Bledsoe County hoping to do better than the 10-3 record they had last year. Lost by 1 point to that team, which we won't mention. Out of respect for them. But anyway, Bledsoe County, of course, will try to replace some of his starters, and will try to fix some of his problems. And one of his problems is pass defense, and that's been their biggest problem this year. In one scrimmage, the opposition passed them 8 of 9 for 169 yards in one of the scrimmages. But of course, that was a team we're not playing this year, so you just can never tell by that by alone. But Bledsoe County this year, well, they have just as tough a schedule they had last year, yet won 10 games and did pretty good. Bradley, what's your take on it?
Well, they have the games that they played. They went to that scrimmage up around Allgood, and they played Rockwood. There was 4 or 5 teams that they scrimmaged back and forth there. Bigger teams, better teams.
Yeah. And
fared decently. Scrimmage Stone Memorial out here on the mountain. Stone's a bigger school.
Yeah.
They've got quite a bit of players. Held our own there.
Yeah.
The main thing that most of the people that I've heard about that was going was, my concern is the offensive and defensive line, how that would perform, and according to those onlookers, the defensive and offensive line performed fairly well, considering. And just recently this week they went down to South Pittsburgh, had a scrimmage there, and the thing about it is what Tabor's trying to do. We will not play. There is not a game on our schedule that will be tougher than South Pittsburgh and Stone Memorial. And I say that not because Stone Memorial is exceptionally good. It's just they're a bigger school. They have better depth. They can spread things out a little better. They have more bodies. So when Bledsoe goes to play a team like that, they have played a more higher caliber team that should prepare them for the season coming up.
Yeah.
Now, that's not taking anything away from the likes of Marion County and York and Polk and Tellico and all of those teams that were going to play, even Sequatchie County in Game 1 on August 21st. That's not taking anything away from them. But, as I said, those teams that we scrimmaged already this year are equal or better than every team that we play on our schedule. So that's good for our guys. That's good for our guys. We get a taste of it, know what it's like to, feel like being knocked around a little bit, to kind of hold our own, know what we have to do to overcome that, and that's going to help us in the long run. The thing about Bledsoe County is there are at least 3 transfers, one of which is a freshman. His brother is a senior. They both transferred from Cumberland County. They've come over. They're going to be playing, and he's going to be the number 2 quarterback. Luke Morris is going to be our starter because he has more.
Yeah.
From what I understand, you look at the two of them, the guy from Cumberland County has better wheels. He can run faster, but Luke has better touch and better field vision and can throw the ball further. That's going to, and with the fact that he spent last year as a freshman guiding the offense through their that year, he has more experience with the offense, even though the transfer is a senior. And we did get a guy from the Chattanooga area. He came over. He's the linebacker. I've heard great things about him. I believe his last name is Dunlap, oddly enough.
Yeah, Dunlap.
He's a linebacker. That's going to really fill a big void left in the middle from Stonewall Farmer and Austin Raines being gone out of the middle of the field linebackers. But he is apparently doing very well, stepping up, learning, playing exceptionally well, and is a good athlete. And Spencer Campbell come over from Spring City. He's a freshman. That's Michael Campbell keeping that bloodline in the Bledsoe County Blue. So, I mean, we've got some guys coming up. We've got some guys that have stepped up into leadership roles. The offensive defensive line has gotten stronger. They're playing better. And, I can't wait to hit the ground running August 21st when Sequatchie County, comes. It's just going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game all around.
Yeah, for those who are going to attend that game next week, I would be advised that if it's anything like it was 2 years ago, you're going to be waiting a long time to get out after the game because I remember is that I would usually be out of the parking lot in 10 minutes. It took me 45. That tells you how big it is, and they had, I think, some accounts 7,000 fans there. That's a 2,000 seat stadium. 7,000 fans there. That is a record for Bledsoe and Sequatchie County. Of course, this is going to be a big one for both teams. Bledsoe, of course, starting its 100th anniversary celebration of football. So Team 100 going to be thing there. There's going to be some celebrations. I'm not sure exactly what they have in mind, but I think one of those will be introduction of players and coaches from the past as well. So,
Centennial year is going to bring a lot of memories, a lot of reflection, and also a lot of motivation to build on that history and build on that reputation that we have. Even back when I played in the years before, we had some really good years.
Yeah.
We had some good teams, and we may not have won every ball game we played, but everywhere you talk to someone, especially those from the other side of the mountain, because we always played in the Chattanooga districts, and they even said, Wayne Turner, legendary coach at Tyner, had even said this, Bledsoe County may not win the ball game, but you're going to know you played them Saturday morning because Bledsoe has a tendency to just hit you in the mouth and run over you, and that's the way the Valley teams are.
Yeah.
Bledsoe, Sequatchie, Grundy, Whitwell, Grundy, all of those guys in this valley on top of the hill out there toward Comont, we play football like that.
Yeah.
We may not win every ball game, but you're going to know we were there, and you're going to feel it. And that's one thing that kind of stands out as far as historically with Bledsoe County football specifically is teams note that. Sequatchie County coming into our house Friday, August the 21st, that's going to be a really big ball game because not only is Sequatchie County trying to build on last season, Bledsoe County is trying to build on last season, and both teams, I'm not saying one game is going to determine the season. Please don't think I'm going to say that because it's not true, because one game doesn't determine the season. But it's going to be huge for either team to get that victory over their arch rival to get them into the latter part of the season. And along with that centennial celebration we're going to be having, you'll notice something when you go down to watch Bledsoe County. They've got a little bit of a new look. Helmets are different. I don't think the jerseys have changed, but they do have a new look helmet. Very clean, a matte finish with the gold and white stripe down the back and down the middle, still with the warrior head, the arrowhead and the number. So a little bit different look than what we're used to. Haven't seen a stripe on the warrior helmet in, long time. I think way back when they had a white stripe down the middle of it. When I played back in the 90s, then early 2000s, we didn't have a stripe. We had the old Washington Redskin logo on both sides. So that's going to be a little different look. But it looks clean. It looks good. I saw it in some of the film from the scrimmages and some of the highlights and all of that. Looks really nice, especially when those logos are going to get put on it and the number. and it's going to look good under the Friday night lights come August 21st.
I've seen the helmet at the football banquet this year. They had that. Showed it to me. It looks really, very, very nice. And I think it looks nice and clean. I think is such a great thing there. Now, I don't think they're going to go to what some schools do is called throwback jerseys. Which I don't think that is going to happen. If I would have a throwback jerseys, I would have it about the era when John Boynton played for Bledsoe County, but of course they're expensive to have, so I don't see them having. But of course we don't know what they're going to be planning, but they're going to be planning something here. They're also done something to the press box, and this is for Bradley's benefit as well. And I know Bradley has a little trouble ascending the stairs, and I'm about to throw a rope and pulley down him to bring him up.
Those who are familiar with the press box inside, the steps in there were built when the press box was built. I mean, up before the press box was built, and they are extremely steep. It's more like a ladder than it is stairs. And that's not just hard for me; it's hard for others. Mark Hagel goes up there. The coaches go up there. You go up there, Derek. I mean, a lot of
I've actually fallen down those stairs a couple of times, and it's
hard. It's hard.
It's not a lot of fun to watch me go bouncing up down those steps.
Yeah, and even with somebody who's in good shape, the narrowness of those steps, it's dangerous kind of going up and down. So we have lobbied for years trying to get new steps. The quarterback club has also been lobbying for that in recent years. Jason Reel, the athletic director, has lobbied for it. Mark Cagle, the PA announcer, has lobbied for it. I've lobbied for it. You've lobbied for it. Finally, our efforts have come to fruition. There's going to be some steps on the outside of the press box. At the top of that concrete landing where the back door is, the steps are connecting from there up to the deck, and we'll go into the top back door. So that's going to be a lot easier climb, especially for me. And Mark Hagan and I was talking about it. Mark said that he's a bigger guy too, but he's got real big feet, and those really narrow steps were hard for him to get up and down. So he and I are really, really pushing it. And I told Jason Reel, I said, who do I need to give a bear hug to as gratitude for getting this thing done? And he said, Mikey. And I said, no, I think I'll pass. I think I'll pass because Mikey's got cooties.
I got cooties. I don't have cooties. What is wrong with you? Okay, that's it. Cowbells are coming back. I promise you.
I found one in my truck, by the way.
I thought they were all coin changes.
I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you when we leave today. That way you can have at least one that I have taken from you back.
Yeah, you're going to pay for this one, Bradley. I promise you that. Yeah, I did. I did mention to Jason that several times that we really need to. He's there to put an elevator in there, please, or something like that. But it takes time. It takes money and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think it had something to do with me threatening to sing the national anthem. That got that rolling. But anyway, I think Jason said that in my name just to see the look on your face. That's what I think.
The stadium would clear if you sang the national anthem.
Like a fire drill.
Yeah, I believe that to be true. Yes.
Bradley, I saw this in the Facebook this morning, and this is a very interesting thing. And how when you were in high school, did the coach ever told you to check your helmet for any insects might go flying in there and all that?
Oh yeah, I know the video you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, this happened in Arkansas. They had the football practice, and one of the players said sounded like something was moving inside his helmet. Well, they stopped it, put the helmet down, and between the liner and the helmet itself was a cottonmouth snake, the second most venomous snake in Arkansas. Now, it must have sort of gone in there to keep warm, and the snake must have been in an awfully good mood because he said it was a miracle that he had not been bit. And the snake liked it in there so much when animal control people came, they said they had to pour water in the helmet to get the snake to get out of there. And of course, the cottonmouth where cottonmouths go.
Well, you couldn't really see it the way that where it was. It was under the line, between the lining and the helmet. But now the kid had played for almost an hour in practice with this thing in his helmet. Yeah. So when he finally took it off and was like, something has got to be going on here, they noticed that there was obviously an animal in there, and they realized it was a snake, and they put it underwater knowing that it would have to come out. to get air at least once. And that's how animal control was able to wrangle the snake out. But yeah, could you just imagine, and even having that, helmet on, I don't know that the snake would have had enough room in there to really strike or bite. But still, you're this close, to a venomous snake, and that's a little unnerving for me.
I'll be running a 100-yard touchdown every time to get away from the thing, which tells you that maybe we should just throw some snakes in front of the opposition and watch them spread out.
We could certainly do that. It would definitely add a little bit to the camaraderie on the field, no doubt.
But I think afterward, they're sort of forced. Like, please look into your equipment before you put it on.
Yeah, well, the good thing is, that happens a lot when you leave your equipment unattended.
Yeah.
You leave it indoors. Typically, that's not going to happen. But if you're outside, you're beside the building or something, and you set your helmet down or leave your shoulder pads down, and you walk away and do something else and come back a little while later.
The snake's going to say, hey, look, this is a great place to watch a game.
Snakes, bugs, bees, anything can get inside that helmet or shoulder pad, so you better shake it out before you put it on. And if you're in Arizona and there's it out there, you better shake it for scorpions, because those things are rampant over there.
I'm thinking about next week when we do the game, is I'm going to wear a Bob Uecker jacket. The tacky jackets he'd like to wear. And I thought that would be great. Then I could tell everybody I'm Whitey Ford.
Yeah, good luck with that. I just don't know who you expect to see you on the radio. Aside from the people in the press box,
the question should be asked: how many people are going to know who Whitey Ford is?
Well, any baseball fan is going to know that name.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised you know that name, given you're not a baseball fan.
I know who Whitey Ford is, so I know something about baseball. There's a story one time of Satchel Paige. One of the great black players who played in the Negro Leagues for many years before it went out of business. He was a couple of seasons short of getting a pension from Major League Baseball. So what the Atlanta Braves did was offered him a slot in his roster. He didn't have to play much. He was just there to qualify for the pension. Of course, by the time they changed the rules by then to allow Negro League players to get pensions without having to get on an NFL team. But that was an interesting thing. I read that somewhere. So it was a great way to honor somebody, Satchel Paige. As there are a lot of people know who Satchel Paige is. Who Jackie Robinson is, who Willie Mays, or Hank Aaron. They all played in the Negro Leagues before they went to Major League Baseball. But anyway, Bledsoe County will be playing next Friday night. We'll have that broadcast for you next Friday night on WAT. We hope.
While we are on the topic of Bledsoe County football,
okay.
As promised, now is as good time as any to pull out the prediction sheet.
Oh, Lord. You'll never see that ever again.
This is something we do every year, and I
know how this goes.
I typically don't bring it up. And the reason for that is Mike always loses, and I don't like to hurt feelings.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
I don't like to hurt feelings. I like to, just kind of keep it nice and clean. But we're gonna go.
Yeah, here we go.
We're gonna make some predictions here, game by game. We're not really gonna do the score, except for the Sequatchie County game, because that's gonna be the tiebreaker. But we are gonna go win-loss down through these, and we're gonna see what Mike and I feel is gonna happen this season in 2026 for the 10 regular season games. This is not counting the playoffs, and then a little something extra. At the very end, we're going to our prediction for the final region standings. The 5 teams in the region: Monterey, Grundy, Marion, York, and Bledsoe. We're going to rank those of who's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to start off Sequatchie County. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm going to go ahead and say that Bledsoe wins this game at home. And they're going to win this game 35-21.
Okay.
What do you think about Sequatchie County?
I think Bledsoe County will win 35-28 in overtime.
35-28 in overtime. All right. The following week, Bledsoe travels to Whitwell. And I'm going to say that Bledsoe gets a victory in Whitwell. What say ye?
I'm going to say Bledsoe County gets a win over Whitwell as well.
All right.
It's going to be 2.
Then we host Oneida on September the 4th. The Oneida Indians. Always a hard game. Oneida always comes to play, and we've not really had much luck against Oneida at home. But I'm still going to go with Bledsoe County beating Oneida at home. Home field advantage. What say ye?
I'm going to say it's a loss.
Oneida.
Close loss. It'll be a close loss.
You say that Bledsoe will lose to Oneida.
Right.
Okay. The week after that, we host Tellico Plains, and again, Tellico Plains is one of those teams that's on the rise. Tellico really gave us all we wanted last year over there at Tellico Plains.
Right.
They are a tough team. They come to play. They've not had very good luck at James T. Warden Field, John A. Boynton Stadium. I'm going to go ahead and say Bledsoe County does win that ball game on a close one.
Okay, well, of course, the past 10 years, Bledsoe's just basically just dominated, except for a couple of close games. Bledsoe County, really is that Tellico pretty much shot itself in the foot last year with all those penalties they had late in the game that pretty much put it away for Bledsoe County. So I'm gonna pick Bledsoe to win by 2 scores.
All right. Then on the 18th of September, we travel to Jamestown. Hopefully, only once. We travel to Jamestown to play the York Institute Dragons at York. Always a very hard place to play. York, unfortunately, imploded last year. A lot of issues on the team between the teammates, coaches. A lot of players quit. Will York be able to rebound this year and fix the wounds that happened last year? I am going to say no. I'm going to say no because the coaching hasn't changed. The players, I still don't believe it's not going to take them very long to realize that things are just about like they were. I believe that there's going to be some internal issues that will need to be worked out. Might get worked out by the 5th game of the season, might not. I'm going to say Bledsoe wins at York.
Well, last year, of course, they had that so much trouble with players quitting and all those things, and they still gave Bledsoe County a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Bledsoe only won by 3 points. I seem to recall 15-12. Do I think York will be a better team? I think that they'll come in with 2 wins, come into the game with 2 wins.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, right now, I think Bledsoe, if they can get things together, if York does not improve on passing and all that, I think Bledsoe's going to win, and I think it's going to win probably handily in this one.
All right. September the 25th, we travel all the way to Benton, Tennessee to take on the Polk County Wildcats. A new look Polk County Wildcats. Derek Davis, the coach there, who was there for many years, went to McMinn Central, came back to Polk County, kind of to restore order and bring all that back up. I won't say restore order because they were, pretty much the same team without him, but they came back to Polk County. He is now gone. He is retired, stepped away, still teaching at Polk County, but he's no longer coaching. Polk County always has had a decent-sized team. They just haven't been able to gel together and play very well. They have beat Bledsoe County and in the past, but the last few times Bledsoe has controlled it. Polk is a tough place to play, especially with that long travel. But even with that, new look Polk County, new coach, new look team, new renewed energy. Even with the travel, I still have Bledsoe County pulling out a victory in Benton, Tennessee.
Of course, the Davis dynasty is done there. It's not going to come back. I would say right now, Polk County is going to be a good team. They've never had really what you call a bad team, but they're a good team. But their big problem I'm seeing right now is that they're playing a tough schedule. So
They did play a tough
so by the time they get there, they're either going to be an improved team or they're going to be a beat up, battered team. I'm going to go and say is that they're going to be a sort of a beat up, battered team, and I think Bledsoe County will win this one. They'll win it by a field goal, maybe a touchdown.
I also think it might take the new coach a couple of years really to implement his system. They're having to learn a lot, from that, so that also might play a factor. Now this one, October the 2nd, first Friday in October, Marion County went to the state championship last year. Excellent team, reloaded. One thing that I will say for Marion County that they did lose was a quarterback. However, Whitwell had a decent quarterback, and thanks to the TWSAA's new transfer rules, the Whitwell quarterback last year that was pretty good and pretty athletic is now wearing purple and white on Friday nights. So Marion County has a new quarterback, a more athletic quarterback with a better arm that's been proven at Whitwell. He's took his licks at Whitwell, now he's at Marion County. But they come to Bledsoe County. Will that play a factor? And as much as I want to say Bledsoe County wins, I want you to understand I want Bledsoe County to win this ball game. I feel this game ends in disappointment on a close one. I think Marion County pulls the win out here in Pikeville. It's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a 1 to 2 point game. Pay very close attention to those extra points because that's going to make a difference in this ball game.
Well, last year, of course, it was a close game considering, Bledsoe playing tough. Now, if Bledsoe County gets at the quarterback and throws off his rhythm, Bledsoe has a better than even chance to win. Now, if that quarterback gets there and gets into his rhythm, and if Bledsoe County does not improve on his pass defense, it's going to be a long night for Bledsoe County. Now, this is hard. This is a toss-up.
It's hard, isn't it?
This is a toss-up. You can go either way, and it's hard for me to guess. But I think right now, this is going to be for the region title again. And I would say right now, looking at it this way, Marion County last year played in the state championship game. They played against a team that basically shut down their passing games and minimized their run game, and that's why they lost. So I would say right now, if Bledsoe County can make life interesting for the quarterback, not allow him to get his rhythm in, Bledsoe wins. If Bledsoe County does not put that pressure on that quarterback, allows the big plays to happen, Bledsoe will lose. I'm going to say on this one, I'm going to say right now, I think Bledsoe will be mature enough and be able to go through it. I think Bledsoe will pull off an upset and they will win.
All right. Got a win for Bledsoe. Now this one, these next two games, we'll take one at a time though. October 16th, we host the Grundy County Yellow Jackets. Last year was a laugher at Colmont. There was an implosion in the last several minutes that sealed the victory. A lot of great things happened in that. The 98-yard pass from Luke Morris to Dallas Bridges. Lots of great things happened in that ball game. Grundy has to travel to Pikeville. And I will classify this game as one of those sleeper games, especially coming off of the game with Marion County. Good news is there is an off week between Marion and Grundy.
Yeah.
But still coming off of that, coming out of the rhythm, that's why I call this a sleeper game. Grundy's always tough. They're gritty. They get in there. They want to play. But I still have Bledsoe County winning at home against Grundy, even though I will say the Grundy might be a sleeper game.
Well, Grundy's not going to come in at 7-0 like they did last year.
Right.
Because they had a very front-end, soft week schedule to get ready for that game, and it didn't help them. Of course, as you said, they took the lead, and then Bledsoe County basically 10 seconds away took it away from them, and Grundy never really recovered. The 98-yard touchdown pass was absolutely would be the play of the year. You got Bledsoe's got an experienced quarterback. They got some players coming in that can make a difference. Their linebacker been aided by the transfer. I would say right now Bledsoe will win this game. It will not be 26-21. It will be more like a 40-14, I would say, if you want to use the score. But don't go by on that, because you never know. But then again, Grundy could come in and could say very well, hey, look, we remember what happened to us last year.
Yeah.
We got our heads handed to us on that. I don't think there's going to be a 98-yard pass play on this one. I think your Grundy County's going to pretty much watch for that, like last year. But Bledsoe should win this game. I think it'll be a decent score. It won't be a blowout. It won't be a shutout by any means. I think Grundy County's got something. I think they'll be 5-2 coming in this game, and but they will not be able to put it over the top against Bledsoe County.
Okay, October the 23rd. We do a little traveling. We travel over to Majorsville.
Or Huntland.
And you're going to see a lot, or hear a lot about Majors, Johnny Majors, Shirley Majors, Major Majors, Mrs. Majors, Mr. Majors, Uncle Majors, because Mike's going to tell you all about the first family of Tennessee football.
Well,
Huntland Hornets. We play them October the 23rd. A little spider wasn't bothering you, wasn't there, you? Huntland Hornets at Huntland. Difficult place to play, rich in tradition. Huntland is a single A team. Bledsoe is a 2A team. Even with the rich tradition and even with the travel, Huntland came to our house last year. We played them very well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to give, even though I say this is another one of those sleeper games, because it's one of those games that you expect to get a victory, but if Huntland comes in and plays, things can happen. We've seen it before, but I'm still going to give Bledsoe County the W here. They're going to beat Huntland, and I think by this time, Bledsoe County will be hitting on all cylinders, and I think it will be a really, really good game for Bledsoe County over in Huntland on October the 23rd.
Okay, well, of course, reading back a little about Huntland football is that before 1949, they didn't have a football team. It took Shirley Majors, Johnny Majors' father, to pull together a team and get everything. And that's why the field is named after him. And obviously, because he had the 1950s went 70-1. That tells you how big. The only loss, ironically, was the Lynchburg,
Mm-hmm.
which was Moore County, and who was a player on that team? Johnny, who was a freshman. That's why he was transferred to Huntland, because he didn't want his kid ever beating his team again. So that's how it is. But of course, Shirley Majors is not the coach there anymore. They did not have a good season last year. They were that great season. They're just about average, vanilla average. That they could be like Monterey did a few years ago with Bledsoe County, catch them snapping, and beat Bledsoe County. But I don't think so. I think is that Bledsoe will have victory number 8 on the season. They'll win over Huntland. I don't think they'll win easily, but I think they'll win by quite a thing. And of course, that's about a 3 or 4 hour trip. So you better get out the maps.
Yeah.
And tell you where Huntland is. It's just slightly to the west of Winchester.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let you know where that's at.
Final game of the season, October 30th, Halloween Eve. We travel to Putnam County to play a team in our district,
Mm-hmm.
in our region. Probably shouldn't be based on the way things are drawn up, but what do we know? The reason that Monterey is such a big deal. The last time we played at Monterey was quite interesting, to say the least.
It got
ugly. There were hard feelings between players, between coaches. They did not shake hands at the end of the ball game. And again, I'm not trying to rehash anything that, but that's just the honest truth. And fans, players, coaches, it's hard for us to forget things like that.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing about that is Monterey is kind of like York, is that everybody sits on the same side. Right there on the back side of the school, there's only one thing of bleachers. And my hope is we go up there, Bledsoe County has the game in hand, we ain't got to worry about anything like this. But if it's close, because Monterey is fiercely competitive, just like we are, tempers might flare again. Things can go south pretty quick if things are very close. I think Bledsoe County goes to Monterey with this mind in hand, saying, no, we're going to keep our heads together. We're ready for this challenge. I see Bledsoe County Warriors going into Monterey on October the 30th and pulling out a victory over the Monterey Wildcats.
Well, Monterey last year missed the playoffs just by barely losing to a one-win York team. Which, to be honest, it tells you somehow. I think the playoff system is a bit of a joke on that end. But Monterey, of course, I think always sort of plays with a little bit of chip on their shoulder. They were a 1A team for many years. I remember going in 2020 and went down there and played, and they actually had us on our heels, but an interception by Ruth sealed the win, and of course they kept the perfect season alive for Bledsoe County. And of course, it didn't really. 2 years ago when we went up there, it just sort of didn't go very well for us. But of course, that's water under the bridge. Looking at Monterey, they're not going to be much of an improved team. They're very young. They still got to build up their roster with experience. I think I'm going to take it this way right now. I think it's that Bledsoe County will get a win over Monterey. Monterey will keep it close for about a half, but then Bledsoe County will pull away in the second half for the win.
All right, so as it sits right now, we both have Bledsoe County finishing prediction 9-1. I have them with a loss to Marion County on a close game. You have a loss to Oneida on a close game. Both are 9-1 on the year, which should secure at least second place, barring something happens. With Marion, could it end up with a tie or something like that, and maybe Bledsoe is first place. And coming into the region prediction, I still have Marion at number 1, simply because they filled a big hole by getting Whitwell's quarterback, and they had made a deep run last year. I see Bledsoe County finishing second, York third, Grundy fourth, and Monterey last. That's my prediction on the region. What do you think?
Okay, well, I'm going to pick Bledsoe County first, and not because I'm a Bledsoe fan, it's because they'll go through the region undefeated, so they'll actually be first. I think they'll have a little bit more experience, and if they shut Marion's quarterback down, they're going to be first. Okay, second quarter will be Marion County because they're good enough. They were good enough to get to the state championship game, unable to push it over the top to get a second straight title. I think the one loss to Bledsoe County will probably seal it for them. Third place will be Grundy County. I think Grundy County will have two district losses at least, probably 3. And I think is that they again, where they finished up last year, which was third. On fourth place now, that's going to be the toss-up between Monterey and York. I'm going to pick Monterey to finish fourth because they're going to remember what happened against York last year. I think they're going to be a little bit of improvement over York. York will be last because I feel that York is just basically, though they'll probably be better than a 110 team they were last year. I think they're probably 3-8, the best they're going to get.
Yeah.
So I would say right now your difference is you, and just remember this: we should give this to somebody who we can trust.
One thing that I'm going to say, just a little addendum here, and ideally would be amazing. It'd be amazing to go 10-0. It'd be amazing to go 9-1.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with 8-2. But ideally, what I would love to see happen, because of the way things lined out last year, had Bledsoe continued to win, Bledsoe and Marion would have played.
Yeah, it would have been the semifinal.
In the semifinals.
Right.
And if it's lined up the same this year as it was last year, that's probably going to be the same scenario. Bledsoe County, every year in the last several years, they went one game deeper into the playoffs. So even though Marion County went to the state title last year, and even though Marion County has won state titles in the past, the hunger for them to go to the state and win it is certainly there. But the hunger for the underdog, being Bledsoe County, who's never been that far, and has been building every year, going one game deeper the last 3 years, I think Bledsoe County loses to Marion in the regular season, then I think Bledsoe County plays through and meets Marion County in the playoffs. And I see Marion County losing in the playoffs if we meet them in the playoffs.
Okay, I'll look at it this way. Of course, the playoff situation is the same as it's going to be last year. Bledsoe County, as the first or second place team, will host the first round game. Bledsoe likely will be either hosting a second round game if they get that far. I believe this time Bledsoe County will host in the second round game. Third round game, if Bledsoe County gets that far, will be on the road. And then the fourth, Bledsoe County will probably be at home, unless it's a little different for TWAA, and of course the state championship game at Chattanooga. So, so anything could possibly happen at this point.
I'm getting a picture of this.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm sending it to you.
And it'll be a trouble.
So you can't say that nobody cheated you.
You don't want to always say I lose every year. You always say I lose every year.
You do.
I do not. Where else would I blow all the games in the past? I will find them and I'm going to lay them out and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to enjoy watching you every minute of it.
And I just don't want to hurt your feelings. So I'm
you can't hurt my feelings anything in the world. Anyway, where's that bear hug, by the way?
No, you got cooties.
I don't have cooties. Okay, everybody. Let's go to a commercial break, and then when we come back, we'll talk about college. As college football is about ready to begin in a couple of weeks. Tennessee opened up the season at home against Fern, and I see it.
Don't forget volleyball. High school volleyball also cranks up August 17th, and girls soccer Monday, August 17th at Chattanooga Central. Volleyball picks up at Silverdale. So there's 3, not just football, volleyball, and girls soccer. It's picking up here in the fall. So circle that, get out there and support those Blue Warriors.
Absolutely. So we'll go to commercial break and we'll be back. Folks, we'll talk next about college football, Tennessee Volunteer football, SEC football, and some other information including the preseason polls. As you're watching the Mike and Bradley Sports Scene here on Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative, Channel 18, and WAT AM 10, Pikeville.
You need a bank that you can depend on. Here at Citizens Tri-County Bank, we have the most dependable staff that you will ever meet. Call in, you will not get an automated attendant, you'll get a person. But on the other side, we have all the technology that anyone would need, from apps to online banking to bill pay. So please come and grow with us as we're about to celebrate our 50th year. We are the only community bank you will ever need.
Come and see the beautiful Sequatchie Valley. And while you're here, visit the Dunlap Mercantile. We have a full line of hats from Resistol, Stetson, Charlie One Horse, American Hat Makers, GG Pip, Greeley hats from the TV show Yellowstone, and a full line of vintage hats. Make sure to check out our hat bar where we can clean, shape, and customize a hat just for you, right here at the Dunlap Mercantile.
At Jason Lewis Dunlap Supercenter, we're committed to be better. Better prices, better vehicles, a better experience. Your Jason Lewis Dunlap Supercenter understands that you rely on us to provide you with the highest quality of used vehicles. With over 350 pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. So what are you waiting for? Let us show you a better experience with the Jason Lewis Automotive family. Come visit us at Rankin Avenue here in Dunlap or on the web at dunlapsupercenter.com.
Okay, we're back. We're going to talk some college football, and of course, the preseason polls have come out, and Ohio State is preseason number 1 team. They were number 2 preseason last year. Lost to Indiana in the Big Ten championship game, and then lost down the line. And of course, Indiana, the last year's national champion, number 6 in preseason. Georgia is number 3, and Tennessee is number 18. In the preseason polls. Obviously, I'm not surprised there. pretty much I figured I'd be there. However, of course, Tennessee, of course, cuts a couple of weeks from playing against Furman, a team that they have not played against each other since 1942. That's World War II, when it was 52-6 and 32-6 the year before in 1941. So Furman hasn't had much luck against SEC teams and hadn't had any luck against Tennessee, but it's been about 84 years since the last played each other, and obviously Furman's supposed to be a good team, but Tennessee is Tennessee. Tennessee Tech, by the way, has joined the Southern Conference, so the Golden Eagles, and they have a new stadium, by the way. They have new seating.
They've redone
the stadium.
Stands.
So that is a very interesting place to play. So, but anyway, SEC, of course, Tennessee finished spot at number 8, middle of the pack. Of course, Georgia number 1, Texas number 2. Obviously drives the Longhorn fans up the wall. And of course, at the bottom, Arkansas. Arkansas got a new coach going to be coming in. Tennessee has to go to Fayetteville to play Arkansas, but Arkansas, you never know what you're going to get out of them.
That's true.
So, that's true. Auburn has a new coach. Tennessee plays also Auburn. That's the same guy who was the offensive coordinator at Tennessee in 2022.
Alex Golesh,
and obviously has done a great job where he was, and they're expecting him to do a great job. Of course, LSU has a new coach, and they are a familiar name for those who want to start. I heard that they're having a shortage of mustard bottles this year.
Well, in the defense of Tennessee fans, if they were to bring mustard, although I think they're already making plans that you're not going to be allowed to bring mustard into the stadium. That's what I hear. I don't know. But they have hot dogs, they have mustard at the concession stand. Those will probably end up gone. Good news is the mustard yellow will look just fine with that old purple that LSU has. The mustard stood out from Ole Miss colors, by the navy blue and the red and the gray.
Yeah.
Why? But they wouldn't know if they got mustard on them or not with that nasty yellow pants they're going to be wearing and the yellow outline and everything for LSU.
And a few golf balls too.
Golf balls, yeah. That's November the 21st. That definitely going to be a game that is circled on the schedule as well as the October the 17th when Alabama comes to Knoxville. That one is also going to be circled, and we also have to circle that Battle of the Oranges on September the 26th. Texas goes to Knoxville. All three of those big games are home games, by the way. First year in a long time that we don't play Georgia, Florida, or both. And we have a pretty good homestand with LSU, Alabama, and Texas. Texas is going to be the team to beat this year outside of Ohio State, Georgia, and I am going to say Miami. Indiana is the reigning champion. Can they repeat what they did last year?
They got to have a new quarterback.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Don't forget to circle Vanderbilt, because Tennessee lost to Vanderbilt last year in Knoxville. And obviously they're going to be looking at Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt, of course, won 10 games last year. But, of course, Diego Pavia, who, by the way, just pretty much played himself out of a spot with Baltimore. Apparently, some Baltimore players said, he thought he was hot stuff, and he let the players know it, and the other players made it quite clear, no, you are not hot stuff. So therefore, I got a complaint, and I think Baltimore just basically just told him to, go find employment elsewhere.
Yeah.
So pretty much.
Yeah.
Josh Dobbs has signed with Detroit for 1 year. He'll back up the starting quarterback as the backup has retired. So Josh Dobbs playing in his 19th, in 10 years in the NFL. He didn't get to play a lot, but he sure gets to see the sights.
Oh yeah.
Sort of like the Bob Uecker joke. Bob Uecker joke used to tell when he knew he was being traded is when he go to the locker room and they tell him, "I'm sorry, visitors aren't allowed here." So you probably felt that. You probably felt that way too. Said visitors are not allowed here.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure. But anyway, but of course Tennessee, coming off an 8-5 season, ended the season with 2 losses to Vanderbilt and then to Illinois in the Music City Bowl on a walk-off field goal. Obviously, Tennessee's going to break in a new quarterback. Some say that Faison has got the job down yet. Others say it has not been decided yet. George McIntyre will be in there. I've seen a lot of these so-called simulations. You've seen them on Facebook,
Sure.
where they play these games and that sort of thing. Tennessee winning over Texas, and well, let's hope that happens. Real. I almost forgot for a minute that this is not real. It's about as close as I've ever seen.
Well, the thing that surrounding college football with me now, looking at the top 25 the way it is preseason.
Yeah.
The teams that I have marked to do very well, obviously, is Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not discounting Texas A&M. I think they have a solid team.
Yeah.
I think Oklahoma has a solid team. But when we talk about Oklahoma, you talk about their coach, Brent Venables. Can he get himself over that hump, and can he get off the hot seat? Oklahoma fans are getting kind of itchy. They're wanting more success. Alabama fans are wanting the same thing out of DeBoer. Can he get Alabama back to the glory? I tell you right now, Caleb DeBoer is not going to get Alabama back to their glory playing Pac-12 football.
Yeah, well, I'll put you this way.
He's going to have to go back and play like Nick Saban and Bear Bryant and all those guys did, smash mouth SEC football. And the other one I have is Clemson. How long will Clemson let Dabo coach coming up short? Now, most people say Dabo's got a job at Clemson as long as he wants it. Boosters say otherwise. They want to see winners. They want to see championships. Can Dabo get Clemson back into the ACC title game and into the playoffs? That's what Clemson fans are wanting. And those three, Venables, DeBoer, and Dabo Swinney, those are the three guys that I have on the hot seat.
Oklahoma, of course, has to play Tennessee. Alabama has to play Tennessee. Some people picking Alabama to lose to Tennessee, which would not be good for DeBoer. And because really, to be honest, because Alabama's had trouble beating Tennessee at Neyland in recent years, and to be honest, right now, it's like this. It's like Johnny Majors once said: "Money talks, coaches walk." Because you're going to be out of that one. I mean, you look at Auburn. They won a national title in 2010. All right, Gene Chisley. What happened? 3 years later, he's out because his program dropped right through the ceiling, through the floor. It was just it was just one of those things. He just couldn't maintain. He was working with leftovers from the previous hire. And I think that was it. He couldn't really recruit, and that was
for that matter. Look at LSU, one year removed from winning a national title, and Coach Orgeron being the best fit for LSU down the bayou. Coach Orgeron, everybody loved him. And he's back, by the way. He's a special assistant to Lane Kiffin. So he's back in the coaching ranks at LSU. Which is interesting, but I mean, money does talk. And when you interviewed him, he got in trouble because he was having relations with a different girl that he shouldn't have been, and things just kind of fell apart for him. That's his personal life. He can deal with it. But they met with him and said, "Your buyout is whatever $1 million," and he said, I looked at him and said, "What door do you want me to walk out of?" That's just the nature of the beast today. And Coach O took a little hiatus. He's back coaching at LSU as a special assistant under Lane Kiffin. And I think that's great for LSU. I think he's good. He's a good motivator, great recruiter. As if Kiffin wasn't already a good recruiter, I think that's going to help LSU a lot, especially in the transfer portal, because he's already hit that hard. He wants to win now. And LSU fans are going to be expecting that too.
Speaking of the transfer portal, Ole Miss is suing a couple of former players who decided to go to LSU after signing a contract to play at LSU. Mississippi, Ole Miss say they're going to either pay that money back or they're going to get sued for it. They refuse to pay their money back, so they get sued. Now, for Tennessee, Arian Carter, who declared for the NFL draft, then withdrew because of injury,
Mm-hmm.
health reasons. Well, he had an agent had paid for his airline ticket, $450
Mm-hmm.
in money. Well, Aaron Carter, when he withdrew, paid the agent back the money. He said simply is that he sort of misunderstood the reasons behind that, and so what the NCAA came down on, he said, "You're out 2 games. You sit out the game too well." And a lot of people said that's just not the punishment does not fit the crime. He paid it back. He didn't do it for personal. He didn't use it for personal purposes. He went there to the NFL people who basically told him his injuries would put him way low down on the draft stock. Go back to college. He went back to college, and now he's got to sit out 2 games against Furman and Georgia Tech. And it's hard for me. You know, they say the NCAA doesn't have any teeth. It certainly has teeth. It can and will enforce the rules and regulations. But what they changed the regulations to where if you make an honest mistake, fine. You know, as long as you correct the problem. The reason why Tennessee did not get banned from TV or bowl appearances is because Tennessee fixed the problem with Jeremy Pruitt. Now, Jeremy Pruitt, Alabama wanted Jeremy Pruitt back. They wanted him to come back. Nick Saban wanted him back. But the NCAA say if he does, he's got to sit out a year, basically do nothing.
Yeah.
And Alabama wasn't going to pay all that money for him to just sit on his rear end. So, you know, that didn't work that way. And Jeremy Pruitt thinks it's unfair that he got the no-show cause bit. But, you know, he cheated. He got caught. And that's why him and his staff. And so whether maybe all of his staff had anything to do with it or not, well, they all paid the price for that.
That's the thing that bothers me is, you know, Jeremy Pruitt and his staff cheated, and we still struggled. That bothers me. Now, had we won the Natty or something, I'd have been like, okay, well, we've got something to show for it. But we still struggled, lost to Georgia State, lost games we should have won, and Jeremy Pruitt just couldn't hack it as a head coach. You know, and he's back in the high school ranks now, but still, you know, Tennessee should have had more to show for that, and they didn't have anything to show for that. I got Tennessee, you know, this year finishing 9-3, maybe 10-2. I really think the Texas A&M, LSU, and the Texas game is going to be a very difficult game. I think Alabama is going to be a difficult game, but I think what's going to turn the tide, no pun intended, is we're playing at Neyland this year. I think it'll be a close game, and I think Tennessee will pull that out because by then I think Tennessee's offense will be hitting on all cylinders, whether it's Faison Brandon, whether it's McIntyre, whether it's a 2-quarterback system. Josh Heupel, with his offense, can do some crazy things. And could he do what Spurrier used to do? Could he run 2-quarterback system? It's possible. It's possible. But by then, we'll have it figured out, and I think we'll be hitting on all cylinders. And that sleeper game for Tennessee, South Carolina, in Columbia, I think that's a sleeper game for the season for Tennessee. And it's going to be interesting when Auburn comes to Knoxville, Alex Golesh comes back. With all we've said, we know that the Power 4 conferences champions have automatic bid.
Yeah.
The ACC champion, Big Ten champion, Big 12 champion, the SEC champion have automatic bids to the playoff.
Notre Dame has an automatic
Notre Dame has an automatic bid if they finish in the top 12. Now get this. Notre Dame plays 3 ranked opponents, only one of which is in the top 10. Miami is the only solid competition, I'm going to say. They have to go to Miami and play, and I have Notre Dame losing that ball game. But even with that, they play BYU, preseason ranked 15, SMU, preseason ranked number 20, Miami, preseason ranked number 7. They play Wisconsin, Rice, Michigan State, Purdue, North Carolina, Stanford, Navy, Boston College, and Syracuse. If Notre Dame cannot win 10 ball games, that's all they got to do. Win 10 ball games. They can lose 2 games and still be in the top 12 and be guaranteed a place in the college football playoff, especially when you have Big Ten teams, ACC teams, and SEC teams, and Big 12 teams with one loss that might miss the playoff because Notre Dame, because they're independent, gets a guaranteed bid. That's not fair.
Okay.
I know it's Notre Dame. I know they have a rich history, and I know that people bellyache about them all the time. But if you're going to get an automatic bid, you should be a conference champion. And there are only two independent colleges at the FCS level. And that's Notre Dame and UConn. And UConn didn't get an automatic bid.
No, it didn't.
If UConn finishes in the top 10, they get an automatic bid.
Probably they would get a bid, but at large.
That's not right. It's not right at all. And you have other teams like the Conference USA, the American Conference, the MAC, the Mountain West, and the Pac-12, newly revamped, and Sunbelt. All of those teams are competing for at-large bids. Even if you win your conference title, you're competing for an at-large bid against a guaranteed Notre Dame above 12, and you're in. Against the automatic Power 4 bids, which does make sense because you won your conference championship. I'm sorry, I didn't like it when they made that decision. I don't like it now, and I think if after enough belly aching from a lot of people, I think they will pull that rule, and I think it's going to take like leagues like the SEC and the ACC or even the Big Ten pulling away from the NCAA to get that right there changed. That's not fair. It's not fair. If I was in a Sun Belt or Pac-12 or Mountain West and MAC, Conference USA and American Conference, and I won my conference and I didn't make it, or even if I was a one-loss team in the SEC, ACC, Big Ten, Big 12, and I didn't make it, and Notre Dame made it with 2 losses, and I had 1 and didn't make it, yeah, I'd raise a fuss about that.
You know that you talked about the 2-quarterback system in 1998. Of course, Tennessee, Florida used the 2-quarterback system. The problem was that 2-quarterback system was that they would put 1 quarterback in for 1 play and they would put the quarterback for the second play, and the players on the offensive line couldn't adjust to it, and the crowd noise wasn't helping much and all that, and I think it's that it threw their rhythm off. Plus, Tennessee's defense had something to say about that. So, if Furman game, you're probably going to see Faison and McIntyre and maybe another quarterback play if the score justifies it enough, and that sort of thing. Okay, we're going to go to a break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Bradley's least favorite subject, and that's baseball. As of course it is hot. It's getting a little hot here.
Calm down, Bradley. Calm down.
I don't mean that. Don't mean from the heat. I mean from Bradley's anticipation. And we'll be back in just 1 minute.
At Jason Lewis Dunlap Supercenter, we're committed to be better. Better prices, better vehicles, a better experience. Your Jason Lewis Dunlap Supercenter understands that you rely on us to provide you with the highest quality of used vehicles. With over 350 pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, so what are you waiting for? Let us show you a better experience with the Jason Lewis Automotive family. Come visit us at Rankin Avenue here in Dunlap or on the web at dunlapsupercenter.com.
Come and see the beautiful Sequatchie Valley. And while you're here, visit the Dunlap Mercantile. We have a full line of hats from Resistol, Stetson, Charlie One Horse, American Hat Makers, GG Pip, Greeley hats from the TV show Yellowstone, and a full line of vintage hats. Make sure to check out our hat bar where we can clean, shape, and customize a hat just for you, right here at the Dunlap Mercantile.
You need a bank that you can depend on. Here at Citizens Tri-County Bank, we have the most dependable staff that you will ever meet. Call in, you will not get an automated attendant, you'll get a person. But on the other side, we have all the technology that anyone would need, from apps to online banking to bill pay. So please come and grow with us as we're about to celebrate our 50th year. We are the only community bank you will ever need.
Okay, we're back. Before we begin, I want to play our new theme song for the baseball segment.
I have something Much better.
Now this is the
Okay, all right. I have something much better.
Okay. Oh Lord, here we go again.
I gotta hold my arm because it's bursitis is really kicking in. You know, because the Braves are doing very good since the All-Star break.
Yeah.
What a way to start.
And so that's, by the way, that's the theme from Professor Fate. If you ever watched The Great Race, it's a hilarious thing. It's one of the funnier things. and of course, we don't know what Bradley was playing, but we hope to. Of course, we got some baseball coming up here. Season starting to going downhill a little bit for some teams. Some teams are still up at the top, and some teams are sort of coasting a little bit. And Bradley, what do you got here for standings?
Well, we'll start with the top 4 teams in baseball, arguably the 4 best teams in baseball right now, using just the record. Mm-hmm. Okay, the only 4 teams to win 70 games right now: the Tampa Bay Rays. They have won 11 of the last 13. They're on a tirade. Milwaukee has won 74 games, has the best record in baseball. However, they've only won 6 of their last 13, so they're below 500 for the last 19 games. Los Angeles, 72 game wins, also with Atlanta 72 wins. Los Angeles has only won 5 of the last 13. They've had a skid after the All-Star break. Lost, I think, 8 in a row, almost 9 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. Atlanta has won 10 of the last 13. Mm-hmm. So, of the teams with the best record, Atlanta and Tampa Bay are on a tirade. But people are not talking.
That's supposed to be a tirade?
People are not talking about that. Mm-hmm. The team that people are talking about are the Boston Red Sox. Okay. Now, the Boston Red Sox are 3rd place in the AL East right now, behind Tampa Bay and the New York Yankees. They are 9 games out of 1st place, but look at this. Prior to June 24th, up until June 24th, the Red Sox were 32-46. Okay. Cellar dwellers. They were struggling. They couldn't get anything going. They fired manager Alex Cora. Now, only the Rockies had the worst record. And, remarkably, they have since gone 32-9.
Not bad.
Boasting a 21-4 record in July, one of the best months in franchise history. They've scored the 3rd most runs in the majors since June 25th, and they've allowed the fewest runs per game. Now, the Red Sox had Sonny Gray at one time up on the trading block. They took that back. Mm-hmm. The Red Sox are competing now. They kept that team pretty much together, and they are going right now. They are tearing through their schedule, doing very well. They're over 500 now. They're 64-55, 9 games out of 1st place. Tampa Bay's playing well. New York has stuttered a little bit, and Boston is on the rise. And that is the team everyone's talking about outside of Los Angeles and their massive payroll that they've had the last 39 years. Mm-hmm. But the Braves, Brewers, Dodgers, and the Tampa Bay Rays, those are the 4 teams in baseball that are poised right now to make a deep run. Can't sell out the Yankees. As far as odds are concerned, they're the 2nd favorite to win the World Series. Los Angeles is number 1, Milwaukee, Atlanta, and then Tampa Bay, and then Chicago and Boston after that. But what really worries me, Mike, about the baseball season this year is we go back 32 years ago. Uh-huh. In 1994, the Major League Baseball strike. The players won, the owners won, the fans lost because we did not have baseball for a while.
Yeah.
The strike almost killed what baseball as we know it. A lot of labor negotiations changed the game. They're relevant more now as they were ever was. Specifically, one thing that the Los Angeles Dodgers have done, even though it's completely legal, they have deferred payments for 5 players. The thing that bothers me is if you count that salary in there, then Los Angeles has almost doubled the salary cap.
Yeah.
So from 2036 to 2046, Los Angeles owes 4 players a total of $1.1 billion. Okay, well, in that 10-year stretch, how are they going to field the team?
Well, I wouldn't know because I'll probably be dead by then. But that's beside the point.
It's a thing. The only thing that Los Angeles has done, even though it's completely legal, they want to win. I'm not dogging them. That's part of it. They've done it. They're allowed to do it, and Major League Baseball's not stepped in. But I guarantee you, in the years between 2036 and 2046, Major League Baseball will have to step in and bail out the Dodgers because they won't be able to pay that payroll and field the team. But what that has done is it's probably going to catapult the Major League Baseball into a lockout in 2027.
That's apparently the salary cap is the issue, and that very well could be a reduced season or no season at all.
And even though it's legal, even though it's perfectly legal, not against any rules to defer payments, teams like the Oakland Athletics, your Cleveland Indians, your Arizona Diamondbacks, your Seattle Mariners, your Texas Rangers, your Detroit Tigers, your San Diego Padres, all of your smaller market teams lose.
Yeah.
Because your big market teams are stacking the talent. And again, it's perfectly legal. Every team had a chance to trade for players on the trading block this year. The big thing that really made everyone kind of sour is when Skubal went from Detroit to Los Angeles. The Braves were after him. They wanted too much for him. The Yankees wanted him. The Brewers wanted him. The Cubs wanted him. Los Angeles ends up with him, and guess what they do? They defer payment. They defer payment to 2038 for him, and they sign him, and they have arguably one of the best rotations right now with Tyler Glasnow, with Blake Snell, Skubal, Ohtani at the helm in Los Angeles, because Tyler Glasnow, Will Smith, and Blake Snell, they're coming back. Their injuries their IL list is not there. They're coming back at a good time because Los Angeles needs them. But what that has done, it's going to throw the owners and players into a lockout next year because people are tired of it, even though it's legal. Even though it's perfectly legal. They're tired of it. They don't like that idea. I don't like the idea of deferred payments. I think you should have to figure that into your salary cap every year. I don't think you should be able to defer payments, even though it's not against the rules. It needs to be against the rules. Story that, aside from that, is the Chicago White Sox. Can they go from worst to first and maintain it? We hear about worst to first a lot, especially with the Atlanta Braves. Back in the 80s, they went from worst to first. If you go back to 1991, Mike, the Twins and the Braves were last place in 1990. But in 1991, the Braves and the Twins went from worst to first in their division and went and played in what was likely one of the greatest World Series of all times when the Twins beat the Braves in 1991. So worst to first is a great title. Can the White Sox do that in a way that the Braves, Twins have in the past, and can they become winners? And remember, the 1991 World Series started that long stretch in the 90s where the Braves won the pennant almost every year in the 90s. A long stretch that has been untouched. The Braves dynasty was woken up then. Has since stuttered, but now they're getting back to the point where they can get themselves back in the World Series again after winning it in 2021. Here we have an opportunity now if we can compete with the Dodgers running late in the season. The good news for not just for the Dodgers but for the Braves, we get Spencer Swellenbach back, and he's back from the IL. And AA Alex Anthopoulos, the general manager for the Atlanta Braves, really put a lot of faith in his rotation. Did not trade very much. Brought in Male from San Francisco, the ERA of 13.
Yeah.
Maybe he will flourish. Maybe the scouts saw something that we didn't. And Thomas from Kansas City brought a bat in the outfield. Will that be enough to get the Braves over the Dodgers? That's going to be what will be seen. If they played right now, Braves have momentum. The Dodgers do not. But a lot can happen. There's still several games to play. We play all the way into end of September. There's still a month, 2 months left in the season. A lot of games left to play. A lot can happen. But right now, Braves, Brewers, Dodgers, Tampa Bay. The 4 best teams and the Boston Red Sox are on a absolute crazy stat line here right now, making their way up. So can they compete with Tampa Bay for that first spot? Remains to be seen. We'll see what happens as the games play out.
I would love to see next year if they do have a lockout. Not just because I gotta make it fun of baseball, but to see you go through baseball withdrawal. There's no I don't know how I'm gonna handle it. Oh, I don't know.
I'll have to call my doctor and be put on medication for that, because as excited as I am about football, there's just something about America's greatest favorite pastime, in baseball. The history behind it, the what it's just ingrained into my blood. As much as I adore high school and college football, there is my half or more of my heart is devoted to baseball. I love the sport of baseball. It unites so many, it divides so many, and there's so many things you can talk about in the baseball, in Major League Baseball, the different teams, the best players for each team, the history of each team, where they were, where they are now. It's just so interesting and intriguing to me to see how they play chess or checkers through the season and putting people certain places, trading, filling in roster gaps. It's just interesting to me. The biggest regret that I have so far this year, as I really wish there was 2 people that I would really like to have seen in a Braves uniform. Number 1, Casey Mize. I wasn't a big Tarek Skubal fan. Detroit, even though he was the best player in the market for trade this year. Casey Mize was also a starter for Detroit. I wish he would have been in a Braves uniform, and if not him, Reed Detmers from the Los Angeles Angels. I wish I'd have seen one of those 2 guys in a Braves uniform to help that rotation bolster for that second half of the season and into the playoffs. That's one thing I regret. But if we can get Swellenbach back, Elder, we got Chris Sale, who has the second best ERA in the league right now, playing very well. If we can stay healthy and the offense can keep producing the way it is, the Braves have a good shot to run deep in the playoffs.
Incidentally, here's the fact is that college football and Major League Baseball started the same year, 1869.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. Of course, I got to tell you this right now. It's a little hot in here, and we're going to sort of cut this short a little bit because the temperature is hot, getting in hotter, all the hot air that Bradley sees.
It is 114 degrees here in this radio station right now.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. But anyway, we got high school football starting next week. High school teams competing across the state for a state championship in December. College football due to start in a couple of weeks. Baseball, NFL preseason football has already begun.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk a lot about that as it goes along. And, of course, a lot of things. So, Bradley, you have some final words to say?
I always have final words, Mike.
Try to keep it. Start at the end this time.
Have final words. First thing I'll say, go blue. Here comes the football season, volleyball, girls soccer. getting ready to fire it up. School is in session, and it is going to be a good season for the Bledsoe County Warriors. So go Blue. And I'll say go Braves, because the Braves, as we mentioned, pretty hot right now. Continue that success. Let's ride this all the way into October, and let's beat those Dodgers, because let's be honest, the road to the World Series is going through LA in the National League. So we better be ready for the big Dodgers. So go Blue, go Braves. And what was that last one? Oh yeah, go Big Orange. They start with Furman here in just a few weeks. And September the 6th. Cannot wait for that to get underway. Big hopes for Tennessee this year. A lot of people are saying Tennessee is that sleeper team this year that might surprise some people. I hope they are right. Lord, let the football gods shine upon us, because it's shined upon everybody else. I see what they have and I want it. So please, get out there and support your high school. Go Blues, go Braves, and go Big Orange.
Of course, we know next Friday night, Bledsoe County opens up the season with the renewal of the border rivalry, Bledsoe County and Sequatchie County. The longest rivalry in Bledsoe County's history, dating back to 1928. Bledsoe County hoping to avenge the 26-7 loss at Dunlap last year, and we expect a big crowd here today. So get there early, get a seat. Find a seat if you can, and be sure to enjoy the game between Bledsoe County and Sequatchie County. We'll have the pregame broadcast beginning at 6:30 on WATA AM 10 Pikeville, Tennessee, and on the internet. And we'll have the kickoff at 7 p.m. on WAT as well. And of course, another exciting year of football, and we'll be sure to be selling all the Mike and Bradley t-shirts. And of course, 100 years of football, Team 100, Bledsoe County, hoping to celebrate it with a good start off against Sequatchie County. So we bid you farewell. We'll see you in a couple of weeks as you're watching the Mike and Bradley Sports Scene here on Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative Channel 18 and on WAT AM 10 Pikeville, Tennessee. Good day, everybody.
Brought to you by Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative in the Sequatchie Valley.